just let me finish.
Okay, well, I thought I had, but go ahead.
Okay, y'all, let's take turns and let each other finish.
Welcome to Let Me Finish, the podcast where three minds give their unfiltered and sometimes unpopular opinions on all the craziness going on in our lives and in this world. We're your hosts, Jillian,
Janice.
And Michael.
Settle in and let's take a deep dive.
Welcome back to a new episode of Let Me Finish. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Janice.
I'm Michael.
I'm Jillian.
Okay, so let's just jump right in, I think,
Let's do it.
Every week I'm like, what? Let's just jump right in. So that's what we always do. So how did our weeks go? My week went well, I think. I think so.
It's good.
My friend's birthday. That's what happened. Okay. My friend's birthday this weekend. So I went out to this place called Clip Club in Dallas. So that was fun.
Oh, fun.
And he called it Boots and Dukes.
Boots and Dukes.
Yeah. So I had me some Date Dukes on with my boots. I found some boots at Target for like $20.
Target has everything.
And they were
cute.
so cute. I would wear them again. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Did you take pictures of this? I didn't.
Yeah.
I missed it.
It's on Facebook, because I don't post a lot on Instagram. I know Michael actually has Instagram.
Yeah.
But I did post on Facebook, and
I saw it on Instagram.
I think on my story,
Oh,
On her
maybe it was our
stories.
story.
just
I
so
missed
it's gone now.
Oh, okay.
As I'm like trying to find my post. But yeah, I did that, and then Sunday, me and Jillian went to go see the Challengers.
Okay, this looks great.
Yeah, isn't it cute?
Very cute.
Yeah.
You were pulling that off.
Boots and Dukes.
Boots and Dukes.
And there's me and my friend
That's a great picture,
Lakin. And that's the birthday boy.
You were. I've said this to you many times before. You're so photogenic. You take such great photos.
Oh, thanks.
That smile.
Oh, you're making me blush.
But you're like, keep it coming.
Like, I love it though. Come on.
Bring it on.
So I got out this weekend because I rarely get out.
Me too.
And then now I'm like 2 weekends in a row. I'm like a little bit spent. So now this weekend I'm like, nothing.
To catch up.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm like, no, busy, no, busy, no. Well, no,
Busy doing what?
I have dinner plans.
Oh.
So. But dinner I can do.
Yeah.
Like I can
That's
go and
doable.
have a quick go eat, drink, and come
Yeah.
back home to the couch.
Yeah, that's how I see it. If someone's asking me out to dinner, it's like, that I can do. But when you
Yeah.
want to go out.
When you want to go out, like my friend, like it was it was months ago, but he was just like, yeah, let's go out. And I was like, oh, okay. Like after work. And I was like, oh, okay, let's just meet there. He's like, you don't want to go home and change and like get ready for the night? I was like, oh, no.
It's like a thing.
Oh, no.
if I go home, I'm going home.
I was just say I was just stopping by for a happy hour.
Yeah.
So we ain't doing it now. It ain't happening, honey. And then he was like, if you're not going to be in the mood and you're not going to dress up, like let's wait till a weekend you're ready and you want to dress up. And I was like,
Damn.
we'll see.
He's like,
We haven't done it yet.
There you go.
That was months
why.
Yeah, once I'm home, that's a wrap, baby.
Me too.
Girl, shoot, on Fridays I'd be tired, honey.
Yeah.
Once that door closes behind me,
all bets are off.
that's a done deal.
Yeah.
I like immediately just unwind, shower, jump in my PJs.
I think it's a rule, a woman rule of thumb. Like
Yeah.
once the bra comes off, it's a wrap.
Once the bra comes off, it's
Like,
a wrap.
bro, once I take that thing off, like I
Yeah.
already know if I plan on going out, I'm not taking off any clothes.
Yeah.
So if I get comfortable,
It's
Yeah.
it's over.
I
it's a
think
wrap.
100%.
Because I'm not gonna, because you take it off and you from underneath. I'm not gonna take off my shirt, rehook my bra, and
No.
then put it. I'm not doing all that.
Who has time for that?
Doing all that.
Yeah.
That's too much.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
That's definitely a rule. Once the bra comes off, we're done for the day.
Yeah. What's the man's rule of thumb?
I would say if the pants come off, because for me,
Okay.
like I love being in boxers. So if the pants come off, I'm not putting them back on.
You're like, I'm good.
I'm done for the night.
Everything's
Once I'm in my boxers, it's a done deal.
it's a done deal. Because
Yeah.
honestly, once you feel the comfort of like
Laying down.
laying down. For me, I
Or even
read
sitting
every night
down.
before bed. Like I know you're an avid reader. I read. I know you do too. Read constantly before bed. Like that's my. I have to read before bed. So
I need to do that.
if I don't do it, like if I go out and I'm so tired and I don't have time for reading, I'm kind of grumpy because I'm like I'm so tired and hate everything.
Oh, I get to
Yeah.
the point where I'm just like, that's how I go to sleep. I like pass out. Like,
See, I can't do that.
I'm more like fall asleep on the couch, like can't keep my eyes open type shit.
See,
Yeah.
I don't
And
like
then
that.
I'll go
I
to
can't
bed.
do that.
Like
Me
even
too.
to the point where I'm like, I'll sit on the couch and lay there and I'll be like,
Half asleep.
I have to go tie my hair up. I have to go tie my hair up.
Okay, see,
I got to put my hair in a tie head. It's a whole mission. It's like a tie head, bonnet. Like, that's a mission. So by the time I'm laying down, I'm falling asleep. I'm like, oh, shit.
And see, I do that before I get on the couch and relax.
Smart.
Oh, I don't tie my hair up until before bed.
If it doesn't happen when I'm like winding down to go relax, it's never happening.
But that's like, even like Saturday, like I woke up, I was like, oh, I didn't tie my hair down.
Uh-oh.
But I was drinking. So.
Yeah.
That'll do
Yeah.
it.
And so you did post on your stories or that you were reading a book called The Lovers of...
Yeah, Lady Chatterley's Lover, which I got...
Isn't that
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, and it's a dirty
it's a dirty book. Yeah, so it's written...
Well, I'm going to read it.
It's a... It's not...
I saw that. I'm like, ooh, Michael. Because I saw the commercials on Netflix. I was like, damn, this is from Netflix.
It's here's the thing. It's not 50 Shades of Grey salacious.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like, ooh, like an exposed nipple or like the
oh no,
it's
the movie gets more than that, honey.
Yeah, the book.
No, the book is
the book because it was a product of its time. I forgot what year it was written.
Oh, so it's like older.
It's old. Yeah, it's an old
Oh,
text.
okay. It's not like
it's not
a period piece that was written recently.
No, correct. It's a period piece that was made to be a period piece. Like it was
written in that time.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, to answer your question, I just started reading it. I'm not far into it yet, but I just started, and someone made fun of me. He was like, "It's." He was
Why?
Not
he's just. He's. I was going to put his name on blast, but I don't want to, just in case he listens, because he's going to be like, "Don't put my name on blast." But he was like,
"But you know who you are.
You know who you are. You know exactly who you are." He was like, "Why don't you just read like Stephen King or like John Grisham or something normal like everybody, like something normal like everybody else?"
Dare you?
He was like, because he told me, he's like, everything you read is so like frou-frou and literature-y, and I'm like, I'm sorry that I like what I like. Who am I hurting here?
What does that even mean?
Because a lot of the stuff that I read, and I will admit, is a lot of stuff that like graduate school like literature majors
like
would
reading.
Read.
What's that one book
like
that
college books
nobody ever reads or never finishes, and it's
a lot
huge?
of them.
No, like well, you have watched Red Les Mis.
Yes.
War and Miz or
War
Anna
and
Karenina.
War and Peace. Tolstoy.
Yeah.
Tolstoy.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the one. That's like
Yeah.
I'm not
apparently
gonna touch it. It's too long.
This amazing. Like if you read this, you're like the ultimate reader.
It's true. If you read that,
I'll
you're a
never.
reader. I'll never touch
But
it.
I mean, I have no
will never
desire
touch
to,
it.
so why would I?
But like, why shame someone? I would never shame him on what he reads.
That's how I
Like,
feel.
No,
But low key, that's how I feel about my little smut books. Because I'd be like, I read. Okay, what are you reading? I read.
it's
Don't
not
worry
your
about it.
business.
Yeah.
I read. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's
No.
exactly why when it comes to my quote unquote my smut books, I keep it on my Nook because I don't want any judgment. As opposed to when you're reading an actual physical book, people see the cover and be like, "What are you reading over there?" I was just like, "Nothing."
That's why I like 50 Shades of Grey, because you couldn't really tell it was a smut book until everybody knew it was a smut book.
Right.
Okay, so funny thing is, I was reading 50 Shades of Grey at work because I thought the book cover was. It didn't have the typical romance
Right.
novel.
Right.
Like
Thought you
two
could hide it.
women and a man and a woman
The
hugging.
most
and-
conservative, sweetest girl. We're talking about like she never wore pants. She always wore a dress, always down to her ankles. She grew her hair really long, but she wasn't like a Mormon or anything like that.
was
But
she Mormon?
super conservative. Went to Sunday she went to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, like that
Yeah.
conservative. Why this girl goes,
Lauderdale.
"You're reading 50 Shades of Grey." I'm like, yeah. She goes, "Oh my God, that's so good. Oh my God, I loved it so much." I'm like,
Oh wow.
I bet that's where she got a lot of her entertainment.
I'm
from her
sure
book.
it's always the quiet one.
I'm
I was just
telling
like-
you.
and she was super white.
She probably married and everything the next to her
kinky.
husband and just reading her little book.
Yeah, she was single.
He's like, "What are you
nothing,
reading, honey? What
Yeah,
are you-"
no, she was
Nothing, just
the Bible.
something about colors.
Yeah, no. She was single, but I'm just like, how she get this book before I got this book? I be like, damn, okay, you could at least.
Yeah, nobody really knew it at that time for us.
No,
so, that was
so
good.
it was in the
I'd be at
beginning
work.
of the 50 Shades of Grey, phenomenon.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like, I'm just like, girl, really?
That's the only
you're,
one-
She goes, I just started reading. And she goes, girl, you're gonna love it. And I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
thanks.
the only one I was hesitant to read at work was the one with the handcuffs on it. And even
it
that
had
one
handcuffs on
wasn't.
the photo.
That's the first one.
Oh. I thought that was the tie. I thought the last one was the handcuffs, 50 Shades Freed.
You're right. It is the tie,
that would make sense.
and then
That
the
would make
Yeah,
mask.
it's Mr. Gray, yeah. And it's the tie, the mask, then the handcuffs.
Yeah. And I was just like,
Because I was like, by the time I was like, fuck it, I need to read it.
You know
I
what they
didn't care.
should do?
Yeah, by the time the
Whatever.
third book, I didn't care, but
If they want to be extra mysterious, just make the book like a black cover. Like
Okay,
and
so
then no one knows.
when it's hardback, I always take off the picture part.
yeah.
So you can't ever tell what I'm
yeah,
reading.
so it could be anything.
yeah.
How
But
dare
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
So yeah, my split books are always
But
on my
Mom,
note.
remember, which I don't think, I never read them, so I don't know for sure how smutty they were, but Mom, her books used to always, like, it was that old school art.
Paperback,
It was
yeah.
that paperback with, like, the
Harlequin
man with the
mass
long
paperback,
hair.
yeah.
The Harlequin
holding the
romance
woman.
novels.
He's like
Yeah.
shirtless and he's like on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
funny thing is I never read any of them.
Neither
I never
I.
even read an excerpt of them.
Yeah.
I never even had an interest to do it. And then she liked Daniel Steele a lot.
Oh yeah, Danielle Steele
And then
is really
Catherine
popular.
Anderson, she loves
She
Catherine
loves Catherine Anderson.
Does she still read as much? No.
Yeah, she
I'm
still
sure
reads.
she ain't got nothing else to
She's
do.
an
She
avid
tired.
reader.
Yeah.
No,
ain't got
no,
nothing
my
to do.
mom, she's the kind of person that, like on a weekend when because she used to work, she was a nurse, she worked 12-hour shifts. So on the weekends when she was like off, there were times she'd be in her room all day just reading a book.
I love that. I think
Yeah,
that's great.
So she loved that stuff. And as soon as she goes, "Is there any new Catherine Anderson books?" And I was just like, "Get it for me! Get it for me!" Yeah. So she was.
God.
And she's absolutely devoured all her books. So she loves them. So clearly she's probably a good writer. But yeah, she has more time to read, so that's good
Stacey
for
said
her.
she read a couple of them. She said they were decent. I was like, what level?
It's a
1 to 5. And she's like, 1.5. I'm like, never mind.
I'm not
good.
interested.
I'm not interested.
What level?
Think so.
What's the spice level? 1 through 5.
Like, I need
1.5.
spice.
No.
Period. I
And
need
Stacey
spice.
did tell us, "Oh, they don't get together to the end." I'm like,
Nope.
I don't
We
like.
don't-
I do
Nope.
not like slow burn.
Yeah.
Even though like Thoughtless, Effortless, and the whole entire Thoughtless book, which is a really good series, the whole book, I was like,
I guess not slow burn. I don't like will they, won't they.
Yeah.
I hate
that
that.
was that whole book. They really didn't
No,
get. They got
I
together
know
in the
now.
literally. You got through like almost 3/4 of the way through the book before they ever hooked up.
But the tension. Oh my god, the
It
tension's
was
so good.
so
though.
bad. Yeah, the tension was.
If you can do the tension right,
But she
I'll
pissed
be
me
able to
off.
stick it out.
The whole
but
book.
Yeah, just
Anti-heroin,
And not heroin, the drug, heroin, the woman.
like
Yeah.
heroin, like
Yeah.
like character.
All I heard was
in the book.
anti-heroin, and I was like, I'm anti-heroin too.
Me too. Ha!
But yeah, so that was. But yeah, I saw that you were reading that book, so I just
Yeah.
thought, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see if you liked it.
So far, so good. It's just it's very slow. It's like those. It's a British writer, and you know they write 7 pages about what a tree looks
Details.
like. You know, and it's like it's one of those.
Yeah, I know that Denise doesn't like
Michael,
those.
wasn't it? Did we have a conversation about this already? When it was going to 8th grade when they made us read the Red Badge of Courage for like AP English.
I actually never read it, but
Bro,
I-
oh my god,
I was like, I never read
the worst
Book.
book in the world.
Red Badge of
is
Courage,
it like
okay.
that? Just really
So
slow and
and
Yeah.
boring. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I can't
Especially
believe,
at that age
I
group.
cannot believe they make 8th graders read that
yeah. That's
in
not,
my summertime.
that's right. It
That
was
was
like
one
a
of the summer
read.
reads. Like, it was a
Yeah,
separate piece. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bless Me Ultima was one
Bless
of
me,
them.
old. I'm like, why
Yeah.
are y'all torturing me?
More
the
like
summer.
Torture Me Ultima.
And then mom was like, "You gotta get off your books, Fred."
yeah, I know.
I didn't.
I was, yeah.
Cliff notes.
I
So the
remember.
blood pass.
I remember there were students, and I was kind of irritated because I spent my summer reading, and then there were other kids that were like,
Silly.
"I read it like 2 days before school
Silly.
started, and then I sparked
Silly.
the rest."
Yeah, no, I sparked.
I actually read them.
And then I got to college, and I was like, "Oh, we have to read it for real."
Yeah, it's harder to. It's
Oh,
hard
none
to
of
do
the
it.
notes are in the Spark Notes. Nothing that's tested on is in Spark Notes. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
I
it,
had
got
a
it.
literature professor who made it a point to put things that were not on.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like they very much purposely did it
Yeah.
because I think what was the first book they made us read? God, Jane Eyre.
Oh my god.
That was like one of my first books, and I tried to clip notes. It didn't
yeah,
work.
no.
Yeah.
Failed everything. The first like quiz, and I was like, "Oh, okay, let me read that."
I gotta actually
Let
read
me-
Let me actually read the
Let
book.
me read it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought I'm just like, I can't wait to see what you think about it.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted next week. Hopefully, it's spice level 1 at least number 1 or 2.
I think
it's going to be a 2.
Listen, all I can tell you is from the Netflix show, that's what I'll be watching. I'll be
Yeah.
watching the show, not reading the book.
It's a good cover too. Like she's
But actually, it's a little. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it's a slutty cover. So I'm not gonna lie.
like I'm telling you, it's just a little excerpt. Like, you know, when you like go through Netflix and it gives you like a little. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
this giant whore has sex
It
with.
was. I was like, and then I went and watched the trailer. I was like, oh. It was
that's
like
what Michael's reading.
nymphomania type shit.
Yeah.
Just saying. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Netflix.
Shoot.
NR.
Yeah, X-rated.
And then we went and saw the Challengers, which we'll talk about it, but we want Michael to see it so we can talk about it. But just so y'all know, it's with Zendaya. It's one of her latest movies. So good.
Very good.
It looks amazing.
Chef's kiss. Like, it makes you go. It's like one of those movies where you have a conversation with it about it after you leave the movie theater.
Right.
Like even today, Julie and I saw it yesterday, but then today we sat there and talked about our complete theories of what we thought was going through the character sets.
Yeah.
I love
Because
that.
it's very ambiguous.
It's definitely a character driven movie, and so
and it's about and only 3 characters.
Right.
really, yeah, it's 3
Just 3.
characters. Not saying all the other 2 male leads in the very strong actors. Not going to say that, but you can tell that Zendaya definitely.
Oh no, I thought it was very equally yoked with the 3.
I think I would put Zendaya above them as far as talent wise, or as far as like what I saw on screen, but not much above. You can tell that she was the glue for the other 2 characters. But I will have to say,
Do you think it was like her acting, or are you talking about just the character
fame?
itself,
the character,
like the storyline?
Character and the acting? Because I think
I'm talking
out of
about
all
not
3,
the storyline.
just storyline and the acting. But I think out of all 3, Zendaya is the strongest actor out of all 3 of them.
I think it's hard to say that. It's hard to not say that about Zendaya in any ensemble.
Yeah, like I said,
stands out.
when it comes to Zendaya,
She's just
like,
good.
Yeah.
I just feel like she gets better and better. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like Malcolm and Marie, but I really
I feel like if you do not like thought-provoking movies where it's more than just what's being said,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like it.
yeah, me and Janice absolutely. I remember we were at my mom's old house, and we were just some random weekend. It was just me and her watching this movie, and we're like.
It was good.
We're looking at each other like, you seen this shit? Like, she is not that Disney kid anymore.
No.
And it was one of those things where it was one scene where she was pretending to act. Like, it was like she was acting in the scene. Her character was acting in the scene. And we're just like, so she's acting, like pretending to act.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
she's acting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just
weird.
like, and it's the emotions that she put through. Like, she went through this whole emotion thing, and then she just like her character completely flipped. I'm like, wait a minute. She was acting.
movie is
Her
good. Did you
character
ever
was
watch
acting
it?
the whole
No,
time.
I don't know what it is.
Michael,
You should watch.
Yeah.
It's literally
I like her.
what's her Denzel's son's name?
Oh, John David Washington. John. Oh, I forgot his name.
I'll
David.
pull it
Denzel. It's like David Washington.
He's very handsome.
It's just him and her, and they're the only 2 people in the
Oh.
movie, and they're the only 2 people that speak.
I did not know that.
There's no one else in the
And
movie.
it's black and white.
Oh.
The whole thing's.
It's so good.
They're the only 2.
Never heard of this.
Very artsy type of film.
I'll have to
Very
check it
much
out.
for people who like movies.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I've never heard of it.
More thought provoking.
Yeah, things that will make you like have conversations.
Like it's
after.
like exactly. It's like
It's-
the whole movie is about basically 2 people having a fight about their relationship
Yeah.
the whole night.
Have you ever seen A Marriage Story?
Yes.
It's like that.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
Is it depressing?
Way
Have you seen A
less
Marriage Story?
yeah, but it's way less. It's literally only one scene, like
Oh, okay.
one location for the movie.
Okay.
It's
One night.
Literally, they're having this. Anyone who's seen A Marriage Story, the Marriage Story kind of happens over a long period of time,
Right.
Where Malcolm and Marie is them having this fight, hashing it out, really getting it to the crux of their relationship in one night, and it's over maybe 1 or 2 hours, and so they're having this big dragnet knockdown, not like physical violence, but like back and forth. It's you can tell between Zendaya and John David Washington, it's a constant back and forth, and
It's a volley, yeah.
Yes, and they did just
And
an
both of
amazing
them
job.
were very, very strong.
Yeah. John. He's
But
a
you
good
have
actor
to
too.
be able
Yeah.
just have a 2-person.
Oh yeah, you gotta be
movie.
really strong.
Yeah. And
Like-
and I think that's why they chose it to be black and white, so you can just focus on
The dialogue.
characters and the dialogue.
Text. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. for
But yeah,
sure.
so I just thought, so we love Challengers. So if you haven't seen it, go see it, and then once Michael sees it, we'll talk about
We'll
it more.
have a talk about it. But yeah.
It's next on my list.
Okay. Did everybody go through their weeks?
Yeah, I'm good. That's all
I don't
anything
have
exciting.
How was your week, Michael?
Well, honestly, it was fine. Nothing memorable comes to mind. Every time we get to me, I'm always like, what did I do? I don't even
it's fine.
remember. I think it was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll say that.
as long as nothing crazy popped
nothing
off.
terrible happened.
Right.
I'm here. So
It's either like, it's cool or like, oh my God.
it was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to just take a quick break. We'll come right back and we're going to dive into this topic, which this one's meaty this
Yes,
week.
we
So-
are.
Okay, we're back. And it's been such a long time. I don't even. Okay, I know what we're talking about. I was like, we actually just sat there on break for like the last 30 minutes. So just talking. But that means that we have a good vibe and a good chemistry.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's all that
absolutely.
means. But this week, guys, we are talking about old dirty Harvey Weinstein. Old dirty McDirt.
Problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so let me read exactly what happened because they overturned. Oh, I deleted it. Let me go to my picture. Hold on. Where's my deleted photos? I think I deleted it because I was just like,
You took a screenshot.
oh yeah. Because I was just like, we have to talk about this, y'all.
Yeah.
So Harvey Weinstein's conviction it was appealed in the Supreme Court, right, Jillian?
It's the New York Appellate Court.
And they said that he was treated unfairly.
Yes, because the judge in the case allowed prior victims, even though he was never convicted of those crimes, to testify for them to establish prior bad acts. So they found that, I guess, prejudicial against his
Setting the
defense.
precedent.
So Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction overturned by the New York Appeals Court, which I'm just like, of all the people you can overturn a ruling on,
I know.
of course
It's
it's
just a
this
white, powerful
older
man.
white man who's powerful in Hollywood. That's who we're gonna spend our tax dollars
I know.
making sure he gets a fair shake. He doesn't need I'm sorry. And this could be a very unpopular opinion, but I don't want him to have a fair shake. I want him to go. I want him to just burn.
Yeah, he doesn't get a fair shake.
Like, you didn't give those women a fair shake that you
No.
assaulted.
He's a terrible human being.
And you probably literally lived 90% of your 70% of your life thinking you're above the law.
oh yeah.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
literally just being like, I can do whatever I want. I'm fucking Harvey Weinstein. Nobody can touch me. If you want this part, you're gonna have to blow me, suck me, fuck me.
Honestly, I don't even think that he was.
Sorry.
I don't think he thought he was above the law. I don't
You
think
don't
he.
think so?
I think he didn't think he was doing anything wrong.
How do you not think you're doing something wrong when you
No.
literally blackmail women into sleeping
think it
with
was
you
more of a-
or touching you?
It was more for reputation wise than thinking, oh, well, they came up to the room, so of course they want to fuck me. I think that was his
Look at
mentality.
you.
He's a
How do
warthog.
You
Like,
have to know
I
that
think
you are not somebody would choose.
And think in his mind, he doesn't feel like because you coerce these women into these acts through various means, there's nothing wrong, because in the end they did what I told them to do, even though you're coercing them. Some women
Making them feel like
did,
they don't have much of a choice if they want what he's offering. Yeah.
And so in his mind, even though he's not giving them a choice because they're not
because I didn't hold you down and you didn't scream and run away from me.
So I think that's in his mind, and I think unfortunately a lot of people think this way. If men and women, if it doesn't have a violent component to it, whereas it's forcibly holding someone down against their will, that is not in their mind. They
Sexual
still don't consider it rape. And unfortunately, we need to get out of that mindset, because there's many different ways to coerce someone, and
well, that's why they have laws and different policies and things that even a workplace. That's why it is frowned upon, or they do have policies against you having a relationship with a subordinate.
No,
right.
Because it's like, even though you may not have told me, I'm not going to do this for you unless you do this, it could easily be construed later on down the line. Well, I felt like I had to so I could get this, or that.
So, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there aren't rules out there for that, but unfortunately for a lot of people, they have an idea. And I think almost it's a part of it is what they see portrayed in media, whether that's in books or in on TV or on the movie screen. Their image, of course, as far as sexual assault, there is that violence component, where there's many different ways that comes to happen when most women are assaulted by someone who's an acquaintance or someone they know. Women are assaulted by their husbands, their boyfriends, people they consider friends. And there's that component of false sense of security that...
Well, speaking of you saying the boyfriends and the husbands, so, I mean, it's like a little off subject, and I don't want to go too far off the subject, but, so I was, it was a TikTok, and it was a girl, and she was playing, like, a prank on her boyfriend, and she was, like, basically, like, hey, babe, I've been thinking, and, I want to do this for myself, and I think it's just a really good idea, and I think it's just exactly what I need to, like, really refocus myself. And she goes, I want to be celibate for the next year. So, and she's in a relationship. So I was like, in my head, my first thought was like, oh, girl, you can't make that man be celibate. But then I was like, well, it is your body. And I guess if he's not willing to wait, you break up with her. Right. But at the same time, I was like, what does that even, I don't know. Her even saying it to him, I was like, I don't even know if I would even be comfortable having that conversation with somebody I've been with for years.
And see, and that's a part
of
the
problem. That's weird. Yeah, that I would not even think that's the thing, something you should even proposition your spouse with.
Right.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to be celibate
and
for a year.
And that's why I say this is not a gender. This is only a problem only with men, but also with women. Like, we feel like, because you're in a relationship, that your partner is entitled to your body, and it's not true. If you don't want to have sex that night or for a month or a year, you're entitled to that. Just because you're in a relationship or you're married, is just, hey, this is what I want. This is what I need for myself, my body, my well-being. Now, if you choose not to accept that, then
we need to talk.
Either you stay and we figure something out, or you go.
Yeah.
And there needs to be that
communication.
That conversation. What is this? And then I feel like sometimes with men and women, we have to find ways to be intimate without actually having to be physical contact. There's still ways, even though they may not physically have sex for that whole year, they can find other ways to still have that intimate connection without actually having intercourse.
Sure. But at the same time, I feel like there should be a level of compromise, because just like you want to be celibate, they don't want to be celibate. So where's the compromise, right?
Yeah, there's a way for you both
entitled to it, but at the same time, that's something you went in giving, and so I think it is like a compromise that needs to be had to figure out where's the middle ground for you both,
right?
Because that person didn't decide to take a vow of celibacy, and obviously, if you're taking one, they kind of have to too.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, that's a long time, a year.
Yeah, it is. It's a very long time, but it's one of those things where
that's not all she has to offer.
The fact that she felt comfortable with her partner to even say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Clearly, I feel like maybe in that situation, they'll be able to have an open, honest dialogue and be able to find a compromise to make it work for both. I
do love this couple. So, and I think his reaction was good. And he was very honest, and he was like, she's like, I just think it'd be, he was like, well, why? Well, what made you get to this decision? Like, what's gotten you to this point? Like, he was trying to understand, first, not necessarily hell no. It was like, well, why? Right? Because now you want to figure out, well, what's making you get to the point where you want to be celibate for a year? Yeah. What's going on? Is there something I can work on or do? Because he says that I do something. Obviously, you might be mad at me. Like, what do I need to change? Yeah. And then later, he was just kind of like, and she was just like, well, I don't know, babe. Like, he's just like, well, if you want to. And he's like, well, it doesn't sound like you really want me to. So that kind of worries me. He was like, hell no, I don't want you to. But I mean, if that's what you decide, that's what I'm gonna have to do. But I just want us to figure out why you want to. I was like, okay, look at him.
Yeah.
He had a
That's
good
mature
reaction.
response,
And I can't say if it's a real response, but I was like, that would be the mature response.
That's definitely not Harvey Weinstein's response. You know,
Let's get back to Harvey.
So with Harvey, you know, Rose McGowan was very outspoken, you know, for solid 2 years regarding. She won't even say his name, and she
looks like she was traumatized by him.
Oh, you could tell she has been, and I won't go into detail about what he did to her, but he absolutely violated her.
Well, I kind of
full on.
Can you go into detail without going on to full detail?
He raped her. He
raped her.
There was
it was like aggressive
vaginal, yeah. So
it was aggressive, like
it was very aggressive.
Hold her down type thing.
Literally in a hotel room. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Lupita Nyong'o, who I really like as an actor, she was not assaulted, but she was invited to his house. This is, I think, either during 12 Years a Slave or after 12 Years a Slave. And he said, "Come over," and we can talk about a project or something. And she gets there, and he's the only one there, and he's in a robe. And she immediately left. Because she knew. She's like, I'm not. This is not. So she got out of there. She got out of there.
Abort.
Yeah.
She thought his family was going to be there.
That was his MO too.
Yeah, being in a robe.
Whether it was his house or a hotel, is inviting them over and being only a robe.
He made Ashley Judd, or was trying to get her to watch him shower and do stuff to himself.
Yeah, I heard her say.
Like, I can't even imagine being approached or put in a situation where you thought that you could do that to me. Like, I could not imagine.
Yeah.
Because he's been getting away with it for years.
He had team members that led.
And I think when it comes to whether it's Harvey or Kelly, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, it's not a solo act.
No.
It is. It is something that is done by multiple people who are facilitating these actions.
Yes.
And I think that needs to be. I almost think that these people who facilitate these actions, they need to be in jail too.
Yeah, repercussions.
When you're facilitating this person committing a crime, you're an accomplice.
Yeah,
you're an accomplice in that. And I think I think a lot of people feel like because they're on the payroll, they don't have the option to say no. And I think until there are consequences and maybe shields to allow people to be shielded from
being
reprisals from the employer, as far as those big stars, until those people can feel like, hey, I can be a whistleblower and be shielded from retaliation from this person, is going to be harder and harder.
I think that's the issue, though. This isn't a corporate environment. This isn't where you can go to HR. This is Hollywood. Who do you go to report that to?
That's what I'm saying.
It's literally just the authorities.
And I think they need to figure
something. It's literally
something.
just.
And I think almost if you're a whistleblower, I think it still should be.
And even then, they have certain hands or stretches to where those same people will get retaliated against. And I don't see that changing.
Even if it's going to the police, like say, okay, there's no HR, I should be able to go and be like, hey,
but
I witnessed this.
But these same people are the ones that have those ears of the law enforcement people, the top, like chiefs and things like that. The chiefs are sometimes the ones doing those kind of things. I think they help facilitate it.
Yeah. I mean, it may be, especially if it's like, when you're talking about like, these are serial rapists that are doing these across state lines. I think it could be a component where they can include federal government, where the FBI could be involved. Because if they're doing this,
I think there are people there too that have that
both
stretch.
in states. I don't
Look
think
at Trump.
Well, Trump it's not an FBI thing as far as what Trump's done, as far as what he was doing in New York.
I'm talking about, I mean, not that we know, but I'm just saying, well, I don't know. He's been accused of rape before. I'm pretty sure he's done it.
I mean, you're looking at Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of there's a difference between what can be done as far as within the state, as far as state crimes versus federal. I think there's a component that makes it what difference between as far as a federal crime versus a state crime. So
And I think what I'm saying is
P. Diddy, the reason why, and with R. Kelly, both, the reason why the federal government is able to get involved because there's the sex trafficking component where they're transporting victims across state lines. That's why they're able to get involved. If not, then unfortunately, it's a state by state thing.
But that's what I'm saying. I think just certain people's hands stretch further than others.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a Jeffrey Epstein, like it took forever, but the man had a whole island he was doing his crimes at.
Yeah. And he had people helping him.
Yeah.
And participating.
I mean, I understand that. And I understand that when it comes to the local law enforcement, when it comes to money, this is just something that across society, when somebody has money, we tend to look the other way.
But I agree. And that's why I'm saying, and sadly, I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't see it changing.
Just because it doesn't mean we shouldn't fight for change.
No, of course.
Well, of course. I mean, I'm still always going to fight for it. I'm always still going to want that person to be convicted. I'm always going to want that person to rot in hell. Of course. But
it's hard.
I'm just saying, like, it's like those people, like, look at Harvey Weinstein.
Rich old white man.
Like, look at him. Like, all these women came together and said, this is what he did. And
they're like,
on a technicality, you're going to use that opportunity to overturn it.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people will go to appeals court and have a case and can't get things overturned.
So I think when I read the details, I guess when it comes to prior bad acts, there's a very limited scope that is allowed. I think at the end of the day, the judge messed up. Not saying that the prosecution didn't put on a good case, or that this particular testimony would have swayed the jury the other way and he would have been found not guilty. In my opinion, what happened is the judge messed up. I mean, honestly, I think that's what, because the way I understand when it comes to, and I've done the jury thing before where there's a lot of information as a juror you don't know anything about, specifically so that you can literally, whatever crimes there have been, the charges that they're accused of, or you're looking at those particular charges. Can you prove that I did this particular act?
Forget everything else.
Yes, forget everything else. This person could be a serial killer who killed 20 people before. There's some instances that if I'm only bringing charges for this one particular murder charge, even especially if I haven't been convicted of those other those other crimes, I can't consider those other crimes that are probably credible crimes.
Like Bill Cosby.
Right. And no, Bill Cosby was different. The reason why his was overturned is because he admitted to his crime because of a plea deal.
Yeah.
The deal was he admitted to his crimes and he got immunity from those crimes in an effort to allow the victims to be able to sue him civilly and get their money civilly. And that was the deal that he made. And so he admitted to his crime, got his immunity, and they took his confession that he did for the plea deal, getting the immunity deal, to then turn around and convict him. So at the end of the day, the prosecution messed up.
What is it?
They should never have charged him, because at the end of the day, whatever he confessed to for that plea deal, you can't use that confession to then turn around and then convict him of a crime.
Okay, but I'm saying, what is it to have money? Because at the end of the day, they proved that he did rape women.
It wasn't a matter of proof. He already admitted to it.
But that's my whole point.
Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein.
I'm talking about Harvey. I'm talking about the fact that there are thousands of people in prison in the system that literally didn't do it, weren't able to even fully, without a doubt, prove that they did, and they're not getting overturned. I'm saying it's to have money.
No. At the end of the day, even though Harvey and I'm not saying that this is correct or whatever, what I'm saying is that if you cannot violate his rights simply because he has money, because at the end of the day,
well, we didn't violate his rights because he had money. He was able to use his money to make sure that his rights were not violated. No, he was able
to get a good attorney to be able to fight
to make sure his rights were not violated.
No, to make sure his rights weren't violated. And at the end of the day,
fuck his rights.
I know you want to say that, because the truth of the matter is that either everybody has the same rights or no one does.
But we don't.
And I'm not saying that's fair, but you can't be like, well, these people don't have it, so that means you can't have it either. We can't have it that way. So at the end of the day, what I feel...
The only way we have it is if you have money, you have your rights.
And so we can't punish him for having money. It's the system that's wrong. You can't punish Harvey Weinstein for having money and be able to get, be able to pay the right lawyers to be able to level the playing.
How is it fair when you did it?
It's not an issue of guilt or innocence, Janice.
It should be.
At the end of the
are
day,
you guilty or are you innocent?
There are lots
are you innocent
of people.
Or are you guilty?
And at the end of the day, you have to be able to prove it, because there's a lot of innocent people in jail. Did prove it. Same way a lot of guilty people are running free.
But I thought they did prove it.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you is that it wasn't the whole point of why the appellate court overturned it is because of the testimony of victims who they introduced of prior bad acts, but these were prior bad acts that he never got convicted of, and you can't do that. That's the thing. That's a rule. You can't do that.
So that completely negates the fact that he did it to these other women.
It doesn't negate that, but the thing is that he got off on a technicality. So at the end of the day, the judge
did negate it.
So it doesn't negate it because they have another bite at the apple because they are going to refile the case and they're going to have a retrial. So it's not an issue.
So he has not admitted that he's raped any of these women.
He holds that he's innocent.
He never testified at his trial. But at the end of the day, what happened is that honestly, for me personally, when it comes to introducing prior bad acts, it is done in a very limited scope. And let's just be honest, the judge messed up. That's what I think. The judge messed up, and I think that personally, I feel like I feel like they probably could have gotten the conviction without those testimony from those other victims, and
which is why we would be fucked up. I think.
And which it wasn't necessary, and so the truth at the end of the day, the judge
change the outcome.
At the end of the day, the judge should have been like, "No, you can't admit that." I think they still would have gotten their conviction, and Harvey Weinstein would be in jail, and we wouldn't have to be talking about this right now.
A lot of people are saying that he's going to get found guilty again, and he probably will.
I think so.
I mean, he should.
I think so. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I really do feel that because he also has cases that he was convicted for in LA, which he got 16 years for that. He's going to die in jail.
Yeah,
but that's my whole point.
What are we? Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Like, he's been convicted in other states. So at the end of the day, I feel like that means he did it. So I'm like, I'm not saying infringe on this man's rights. But infringe on this man's rights.
Yeah. I'm not, like I said, I'm confident that he is guilty. I feel that based on what we've seen, that he...
I don't put anything past the society.
I don't either.
I also thought that Trump wasn't going to ever win presidency, and he did. So,
yeah.
It was like everybody was like a joke at the time. And then it happened. So I'm like, it's like, I will never probably come in with the same... mentality with something like, oh, it never happened.
Yeah. I'm not saying
that would curse me forever.
I'm not saying it can't happen. So, because what will happen is that from what I read is that he will have a new trial with a new judge and a new prosecutor, and so I'm glad they're able to have a second bite at the apple to be able to get the conviction, and they just have to do it right. And I really do feel like with the victims, I think even with the specific victims whose the charges were brought for, I think they should be enough to get that conviction. Like I said, I can't say it for 100%. Yeah, he's going to get convicted the second time. And we also have to keep in mind that he was also convicted of crimes he committed in LA, even though that's on appeal as well. And the prior bad act victims were also allowed to testify in that trial. So I don't know how that works as far as California versus New York, if they have different rules when it comes to stuff like this. So it just depends. At the end of the day, my thing is that in the end, I feel like the judge messed up where he allowed more leeway than he should have, which opened the door for the conviction to be overturned. And so I feel like they just need to rein it in and not be so focused on getting the conviction at all costs, but doing it the right way.
Okay, I agree with that, but then I'm like, it just sucks that if you know this man is guilty, whatever the case may be, those victims still deserve justice.
The survivors have to go through all this again. The whole thing over
the
again.
whole thing. And I just think the fact that, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what's fair in trial, but even the convictions of the other states, I'm like, how is that not holding any weight?
So at the end of the day, when it comes to whether you deserve justice, whether or not they convict him or not, those victims deserve justice. Whether they'll actually be able to see it, because it's one thing to know someone did something, is to be able to prove something. You have to be able to prove.
They proved it in other states, and I guess there's no statutes limited. Whatever it's called, of limitations in different states. But if you are convicted of something in different states, I'm not saying that. And that's the thing. It wasn't like they were like, he didn't do it or we don't know if he did it.
No. So
that was never in
at the end of the day, I don't know if, because he has been convicted of the crimes in LA, if they can now take that conviction as far as what happened in LA to be able to bring that into the New York case. I don't know. Just to err on the side of caution, they probably won't bring in any other victims for any unconvicted crimes. So at the end of the day, I think that
at the end of the day.
We always do that. At the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to Harvey Weinstein, that as long as it's done correctly, he should be reconvicted and he should die in jail.
Yeah.
And so I am confident that the victims will get justice. Number one thing is I feel like at least they got their day in court.
Yeah.
Whether they get the conviction or not, they were able to speak their truth.
That's what we're left with as women, at least.
And it's something. It's better than nothing. I think he's a social pariah. We all know. We all see him for who he is, who the monster he is. The life that he had before, he will never be able to have that life again. So I think there's a little bit of solace in that as well.
I feel really upset when I see him, like sick to my stomach when I see him, because he's phoning it in for the camera, the hunched over.
I know.
I mean, it's so forced.
I'm not saying he's not. Those women weren't
exactly. I'm not saying he's not ill. I'm not saying he's completely fabricating it, but I guarantee you he's doing it, a lot of it for the camera.
Definitely, yeah.
It's like, and I even saw him walking, and it didn't even seem consistent.
Yeah, I would do the same thing if I'm, I'm trying to garner some pity here.
Yeah, look at this poor old frail man. Nah, bitch, you a warthog. You ain't. You like
exactly. You're a sicko.
You're a sicko. You deserve to die.
You are a rapist.
And the really sad part too is that he ruined these lives. I mean, Rose McGowan is just one example. Ashley Judd, Mira Sorvino.
Rose McGowan, I could see for sure because she did just spiral after a certain time.
Hardcore.
And if it's anything to do with the Harvey connection of it all, which from my understanding it is.
Yeah.
It's sad to see what you can do to another human, and
what happened to her, she was very young at the time, and not that it's easier when you're older, she was very impressionable, and
he got her blackballed. So I mean, it's one thing to do what you did, but to turn around then threaten her livelihood, I think that's an extra level of grime that I'm just like, damn,
you already did this to me and now I can't even live a normal life or the life I had before.
My ability to be able to make money, to be able to survive and have put a roof over my head, clothes on my back,
survive, or just being able to enjoy what I love to do.
Yeah,
that's true.
But he also did prevent women from getting roles because he said, "Oh, she's a bitch. Don't hire her."
Yeah,
there was an actress, I forgot who it was, who turned down his advances, and he said to never hire. I think it was either Mira Sorvino or someone else, not Ashley Judd, someone else.
I think it was Mira Sorvino.
Was it?
Yeah,
he literally
the girl
said
from American Pie.
No, she's from Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. She's
she's Romy.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So she has an Oscar. She's a very talented actor, but he was like, "Don't hire her. She's a bitch."
Oh wow!
Sabotaging her.
Like because she was like, "No, I don't want you. So
don't touch me.
And so he was like, "Oh, don't cast her. Don't. She's not." So he literally like ruined her reputation.
There's a part of you. So and then I feel like this is like, I mean, with Bill Cosby a little bit, but I get what Jillian was saying with the Bill Cosby of it all, because he did confess. I mean, I don't know. Still, you did what you did. So a part of me is like, you should still be in jail still. But shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Part of you confess you should be in jail.
Yeah. So and just a part of me feels like the Me Too movement, like as powerful as it was in 2020, it's like all of the progress is slowly unraveling.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Here's the thing. When it comes to the Me Too movement, I feel like the only way for that movement to be fully realized and have their goals met, you have to have a buy-in not only from women but also from men.
Yeah.
And for that movement to be fully fulfilled and not need a Me Too movement anymore, it means the dismantling of the patriarchy. That's the only way that works. And I think until we get a full buy-in from the quote-unquote good guys or good men, where that every time you hear your friend say some shitty shit about women while y'all are in your locker room having your locker room talk and call them out and be like, no, that's fucked up, whether it's your father, it's your brother, if your cousin, your friends, until the good men starting. So if I would say, hey, if it's 1 out of 10 men are rapists, unless those 9 men step up and call that man out and make him a social pariah and saying, hey, you saying that shit, whatever bullshit they be saying about women in their private talk and, you know, they be kissing and telling.
Good old Trump.
Until you say, hey, I don't like that speech. You don't ever talk about women like that around me.
What if someone talked to your sister about your sister like that?
Yeah.
You know?
They probably would be fine with it because that's the type of men they are.
I know.
And so at the end of the day, until other men start calling out those men when there's no women in the room, it's never going to stop. It's the same with racism. Until white people start calling out other white people when there are no black people around, saying, that's not fucking cool.
You don't get to say that.
You don't get to say that. That's inappropriate. You don't reward those people for that behavior. Until that starts happening, I don't think we'll ever have the progress, because unfortunately the oppressed cannot can be only one fighting for
and
the change.
You're talking about that.
Right.
I mean, that's 400 years in the. I don't see that changing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There has to be, and it just has to be more good people, quote unquote good people.
I was more comfortable 20 years ago when they hid in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
They weren't, but now they're just
out.
emboldened.
Everywhere.
Very much. Very much so.
Why are you around?
They feel powerful.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be dead by now?
Literally. Sad. I hate to say it, but it was, and the crazy part is on the show Glee, which is such a like wholesome kiddie like show. Well, I mean, it did go there. But she said that it was like a couple. It was two women or two girls, and her grandma literally just could not accept it that she was a lesbian, and her fiance or girlfriend at the time, I can't remember if they're engaged or not, but she was just like, I'm just waiting for a time where your kind die. Like, I just want people like you to die out so we can live our full authentic lives. Yeah, and I'm like, that's a shame to say that about somebody's grandparent, but that's a lot of times where that kind of stuff lives. Yeah.
And it's funny because while this whole thing is happening, there's also been this discourse about on TikTok where it's man or bear, where somebody asked, hey, if you were in the woods alone and you came upon a bear or a man, who would you prefer to come across?
I saw that yesterday.
And women are like, I'd rather the fucking bear.
Wow.
And they're like, and so men were getting upset. And their instinct, and I found this very disturbing.
What?
Their instinct was to defend a man they don't even know, because it's no other context. Nothing else. It was just man, bear, nothing else. It didn't tell you, hey, this is a good guy or bad guy.
If the bear was across the woods, if it was close to the bear.
If it was a baby bear or whatever, there's zero context. And men just tripping over themselves and be like, what do you mean you rather deal with the bear than the man? And it's like you can feel compelled to defend this man you don't know, when women are telling you, hey, based on my experiences, I feel more of a threat being alone with a man than I ever will with a bear. And you've got women like, hey, I've encountered bears and men, and guess what? I owe the situation where I've had too many bad experiences with men, and they're not. It's like, you're lying. There's no way that's true. And I was just like, why do you feel the need to defend this unknown man than believe women who are telling you to your real women telling this to your face?
To feel that vulnerable ever.
Yes, and they've never been held accountable.
Ever.
Yes.
Well, no, you've never felt
that fear,
like a physical fear or a physical, like they're
threat.
Just physically dominant than you.
Yeah.
Like, to me, a man's always going to be physically dominant. It doesn't matter how big or small you are.
Right.
At the end of the day,
that.
if you want to be the aggressor, you can. And yeah,
I think it's
what
not
would
that,
you choose, Jillian?
Because I think I would choose the bear, because I'm like, there's some things worse than that. At least with the bear, they're doing it for one of two things. They're either
a threat,
you're throwing a threat, or they're hungry. Where men, they do that shit. There's some men who are really evil and do that shit for fun, and it's not a survival thing. And at the end of the day, I feel like when it comes to women, are the many scenarios as far as what a man can do to you when they have, because there's lots of questions that men kind of, not saying all men, please understand that not all men, that when you pose these questions, like I've heard people pose the question, if you knew without a doubt that you would face zero consequences, no one would ever find out, would you ever rape a woman? And the percentage of men that said yes,
Jillian?
Absolutely scared the living shit out of me.
How many? What was?
Because there's a lot of men who, I can't remember the percentage, but way too close for comfort.
It was over 50%.
It was a lot. It was just too much for comfort. Like, the odds were not in my favor. I'm like, so if society breaks down and you know that there are no consequences, you would rape a woman. That speaks to your own pathology.
Look at the apocalypse. Of course.
And those
evil things would be happening.
And those same men, and then when you start posing the question, hey, if it was your daughter in the woods with a man or a bear, who would you choose? Who would you rather your daughter come across? Either they would contemplate and think and be like, oh, I don't know. Or they would choose the bear. So when it's funny because I'm like, okay, so when that person that you care about is connected to you, you're like, okay, yeah, women, you're right. But when women are telling you, because you're not connecting them in some way, somehow it's not logical. There's no way you can feel that way. There's no, and I feel like some men just have to really internalize and be like, what is it about men that women would rather face a bear than to face a man? We as men need to have this discussion, and that's something that we need to fix. Mm-hmm. And I think that should be your first instinct, but it's not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, and it's sad. Well, I don't want to feel like that. But yeah, I would still pick the bear. Janice?
I don't want to feel like that, but yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I feel like with the bear, I would have a better chance.
I would much rather be outside right now and see like a dog or something stray and be able to kind of try and get away than like a random. Like, there's been times where I'm just walking up my stairs and I see a man. I'm like, mm-mm. Like, yeah, you have to be on guard.
You have to be on
guard.
You
just never know.
Yeah.
You
never fucking know.
Yeah.
Someone's just gonna.
And oftentimes it's always the quiet one, like the nice ones.
The nice guys.
Yeah, it's usually the time when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so because and then obviously I'm single, I date. And there's been so many times where I've been on dates and things like that, maybe the first or second, and they're like trying to come to my house, and I'm like, no. And it's just like they get so offended. I'm like, how? I'm like, can you not understand my perspective? Like, I don't know you. I just met you.
That shows you that they don't see the danger because...
Well, I have to sit there and genuinely ask them. I'm like, do you not see where there would be a concern for me? Well, we're just watching a movie that you're saying.
And that's
I don't fucking know.
That shows you, because I really do feel like, because a lot of men do invite women over to their houses.
I've literally had men get aggressive with me.
Yeah. You
because they're mad because I said no to date 2 or date 1, not wanting you come to my home.
Yeah.
And knowing where I live. And I'm telling you, and I went on a date with like a couple of dates with this one guy, and he showed up at my house uninvited.
Oh my God.
That was one of the last times I was like, I don't, unless like we're like really like into each other, like, or I've known you a long time, or like I feel comfortable. It's just like, it's not even like a time frame. I just have to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And until I'm not comfortable yet, then you can't come here.
Yeah. It's a danger thing, and I don't think they register it.
It doesn't matter if it's date 1, 2, 7, 10.
It's not a time thing. Yeah.
It's not a time thing for me, because there could be a guy that I might feel more comfortable with
after date 2.
Right? And it's just like I try to use my judgment, but I know that the moment I say no or I'm hesitant, and then you start getting aggressive with me, I'm like, oh, okay. So now I know exactly what would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is why
had you come to my house, and because that's another thing. I'm very much a type of woman, like, I'm not going to allow you in my home unless I see it going there, like going
Yes.
going, you know, I'm gonna say all the way, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah,
like,
no.
unless I want to be in a sexual relation or situation with you, I'm not gonna be in a room just you and I.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's gonna progress into that, and I want to make sure no matter what, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what matters most of all.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't just trust that you're gonna have boundaries or
Not kill me.
take my advances or say my no's and respect them.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're going to respect them.
Yeah.
You can seem like the nicest guy ever. And then that moment that you go, no, it's like, that's when things hit the fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The switch flip.
I had a friend in college and it was a constant thing. And I was like, you literally have to stop because you're going to get hurt one day. Mm-hmm. Like, and she's like, and then of course she was just like, I shouldn't be feeling that type of way. And I shouldn't have to filter myself or monitor I'm like, this is just the world we live in. So, and I'm telling you, this girl would like be in bed with men naked and then be like, no. And I'm like, well, don't put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
Because
I want to get there.
Because I'm scared. I'm genuinely scared for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what man's actually going to take your no and
stop.
Beyonce has that song called Yes on her first album, Dangerously in Love. And it's the first time I said no. It's like I never said yes. And she's talking about, I said yes to this. I said yes to this. I said yes to this. And the one time I said I wasn't ready, you say I moved too slow. And you
It's
yell
like a
at
problem.
me. And it's like, I've said yes to so many things, to meeting your mom, but I'm not ready to have sex yet.
Yeah,
So,
this guy literally told me, like, he was just like, I don't even see what the problem is. It's just a movie. And I'm like, and that's the problem right there.
yeah.
Because I don't believe it's just a movie.
Yeah.
And the way he was on our first date and how aggressive he was, I was like, yeah, no, it's not just going to be a movie. I already know with you.
It never
It's not
is.
with you.
It's you have to tell him.
You were aggressively, like, we were in front of the restaurant and you
We
were
were
like
still-
really coming on strong and I had to kind of back you
Imagine how you were in private.
up. Imagine.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is in public. So
Sometimes you have to understand that no is a full sentence.
Period.
there is no other
There's no
reasoning.
neither. I don't need to
There's no
explain.
why.
Not a question
It's a
mark.
no.
I don't have to explain why. I don't have to. No.
No.
There it is.
Yeah.
And you don't have to make up an excuse like
Yeah.
I'm tired or I'm not feeling well.
I don't have to explain shit to you.
No.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
There
I
it
know.
is.
And it is a world where you almost feel like you have to have a reason. So sadly, but that's what, yeah.
So fuck Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Him. No.
Like, yeah, let's.
And all you men that act like him too.
And
Yeah.
I don't want any one of you thinking that we're bashing men because we're talking about men that deserve to be bashed.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all. This
Please,
is not-
all the men that listen, a head dog will always holler. So if
Right.
it don't apply, let it lie.
okay.
right. Because it's not about you. It's about the men who can't take no.
That part. Yeah.
It's though that's who we're talking about right now. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it doesn't get overturned. I mean, I'm sorry. I hope he does still have to have like stay in jail and
The retrial,
Yeah, I
yeah.
hope all of it still goes in the direction I hope it goes in, which is where he rots. So
yeah.
that's how I feel. But any final thoughts before we go, guys?
No, I think you said it all.
I'm glad we talked about this because I think it is more than just one person. It has to do with a lot of people, and so it was a good topic.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give us your feedback. I mean,
let us know what you think.
And I actually saw some people commenting on some of our Instagram posts, so I really appreciate it.
If we're wrong, tell us.
Yeah,
If you
give
think-
us your opinion. We love it.
Spill the tea. We love the tea.
Because one person, it was like they agree with Jillian, and they clearly didn't agree with me. I was like, okay. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on the latest episode of Let Me Finish. Thank you guys for joining us for another week and listening to the latest episode. Don't forget, go like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platforms. And you guys can also follow us and see us on different platforms. I am on Instagram, and that's going to be Uniquely Janice. And then I'll also be on TikTok, Janice H, GENICEH. Michael, where can they find you?
I'm only on Instagram, and it's Kasra Salimi. And by Kasra Salimi, I mean Kasra Writes, because I changed it and I just forgot. So it's KASRA Writes, WRITES.
Yes. Jillian, where can we find you?
Instagram as well, and it's New Jillian Who Dis.
New Jillian Who Dis. All right. Well, we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.